Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sofia Goyal and today we are going to discuss this very important topic about call, apply and bind in JavaScript. So these are very widely used functions and really use us in interviews a lot, and we are very confused about the usage of these functions. And since it has been asked a lot of times on my channel, so I have decided to make a video on the differences, and I hope like I will be able to simplify it to make it really easy for you to understand, so you can get each and every bit of it. And even if you don't, then just feel free to rewatch the video again and again and pause it and think about it as much as you can. And before going further friends, I would really request you to please subscribe the channel for these educational videos, and please don't skip any bit of this video so that you can get a better understanding of this and you don't miss any important information whatsoever. Fine, so without wasting any time, let's start the video. So what is call, apply and bind actually? These are the functions which are used to define the context of this. Okay, so the this keyword that is used, which is quite confusing sometimes. So these functions are used to define the context of this, or sometimes change the context of this. There are times when the this is pointing to something else and we want it to point to something other, so that it can take the scope from there and we can use it. Fine, so let's start to understand it with the help of some examples. Fine, I have created this simple project over here, and in the console here we will be checking it out, like what is happening and what we are trying to achieve. And here is the my VS Code project for this. Fine, so now I have a function get name, and I am just trying to console log here. Okay, this dot fname plus space and this dot lname. So if I call this function get name and I want to check the scope, like what it is, now it does not know like what it should refer, what will be the scope of this from where it is fetch the values and get the data, right? So if I do this and I clear the console and refresh, I can see that it is giving undefined because it does not know from where to get these values or from where to get these variables, right? Now let's say that I have a person object with these values. Fine, so fname will be John and lname would be Joe. Okay, now this object has both of these values, fname and lname, which my function requires, and I want my function to take the values from this object, and I want this to point here, right, to this person object. So what I can do is I can use, first of all I can just try to use call. Okay, dot call, and simply I can pass the object person, right? So now if I clear the console and refresh, it is getting John Doe, right? So this is the expected output, and in this way it is created in a dynamic manner. Like I can create multiple objects like this person with multiple values, and it is just going to call it for every object. Fine, so this is what we are doing with call. Now let's come to apply. What if I do apply here? So if I do apply and I refresh, I get the result, right? So both of these are serving the same purpose. Now what is the difference between call and apply? That comes to our mind. So if I pass city here and I write plus lives in and city, fine. So if I do here call, what I can do is I can pass, like this is the context of this which I am passing here basically, and now I want to pass the arguments to the function, right? So if I want to pass city here, I can do Delhi, right? So this is the context of this, and this here it starts the arguments of the function. Please get it straight into your mind. Fine, so if I save it here and refresh, I can see John Doe lives in Delhi. Okay, but again this can be done with apply as well. So now what is the difference? For example, John Doe has lived in multiple cities. So, and I want to, list them all out. So city 1, city 2 and city 3. Fine. And I would like it has lived in. Okay. So here if I do city 1 plus city 2 plus city 3. Fine, simple. So now if I write here is Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore. So looks like John Doe is an IT guy, right? Who has lived in all the cities. And if he's living in Bangalore, he must be having a higher package also, right? Fine. So let's see. Okay. So John Doe has lived in Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore. Fine. Now I think that this looks a bit tacky. Or what if I have more arguments? I don't want to pass it this way. Okay, what would be better is let me create an array of cities where I will be able to store these values. And wouldn't it be better if I can just pass this array here and I can get the desired results. So what I can do is I can use apply and pass cities here. Fine. So much more simpler now, right? Don't you think so? So yeah, so the difference between call and apply basically is with call you can pass the arguments separately, but with apply you have to pass it as an array of arguments. Fine. Now let's go to the another part, which is bind. Okay, so bind is a bit different. That's why I had not included it in the both of these differences. So now let's go to the previous thing, the city, and I'm going to pass it lives in and city. Fine. Now for bind, this is not of any use now. Calls bind name. Okay, let's make this. Basically what happens with bind is bind returns you a function, right? It does not give you the value immediately. It just returns you a function of this current function, which is bound with the scope of this. Okay, so the current function, I have attached the scope of this on the function and I have created a new function for that, and then bind is giving me that function so that I can use it anywhere whenever I want to use it. Fine. So what I can do is get name dot bind person. Okay, so now this whole bind thing is returning a function to us, and what I can do is I can just call the bind name function with the argument of city. Okay, so city is Delhi. So see, now we have got the result, John Doe lives in Delhi. Fine. Obviously it is not necessary to have a function with the argument. This is just for the example purpose that I am showing this to you, like how it is working and what is happening with call, apply and bind, and what is the difference basically. Okay, now and another thing is, friends, that the binding that we do with call, apply and bind is called explicit binding. So now let's see about some more examples of how we can use this call, apply and bind. Okay, so I would like to show you one more use case of this, how it is used and how it works. Okay, now I have a whole person object with again fname John. Okay, L name is Doe. Okay, and we have a function get name function here. Okay, console dot log this dot fname plus this dot lname. Fine. Now if I simply call this person dot get name, this is going to take these fname and lname here and this is going to print it. Fine. But now I have another person. Okay, let person 2 is equal to, and for example this person's name is John Wick, Sina, whatever you want. Okay, Sina, fine. So this is the person 2, and I want to basically bind, I want to call this get name function on this person 2 object. Okay, and I just want to kind of do this kind of binding. Friends, whenever I'm saying binding, it does not mean the bind function exactly. Like binding means binding the scope of this. Okay, so what I can do is person dot get name, and this is on person, sorry. So, get name dot call person 2. Okay, so now if I check it out, undefined, okay, sorry, I have not written def name here. Yeah, so now if you can see, it is John Cena is coming. Okay, so this is another use case of this. Fine. So I hope you have understood, like in a very basic manner, how call, apply and bind are used basically. So that's it about today's video, friends. See you in the next video. Bye bye.